This is Shawn Irwin, your youth director with Darts Ontario, and welcome to episode 23 of Darts Ontario Let's Talk Darts. I wanted to talk to our youth players from past and present to see how they got into darts and their story to help inspire the youth dart players of today. Thank you to our sponsor, SSS Canada, for all their support in the Darts Ontario organization. Go to their Facebook page to see the high quality custom dart shirts, which you can order for your team or individually. I'm with Rob Beckham, formerly of the Brantford Youth Dart League and the 2004 Team Ontario youth member. Thank you for taking the time to answer some questions so the dart community can get to know more about Rob Beckham. So how you doing tonight, Rob?
I'm doing good. Yourself, Shawn?
I'm doing great. I really thank you for coming on to do one of these episodes to help inspire the youth of today and go down memory lane for you in the youth dart program. So,
Yeah.
All right. So how did you start playing darts and how old were you when you started?
I actually started playing because I found a dartboard in my grandmother's basement, and I was 11 years old, and my dad said he'd teach me how to play, even though he never played anywhere in any leagues or anything. He taught me his basics he knew, and from there he searched around, found a local dart league in town, and got me in there, and I kind of carried on with that.
Yeah, you got hooked, did you?
Yeah, very quickly.
Now, who inspired you to play competitively then?
Um, Pretty much everybody that I played against, because I came in at 11, didn't know any of the guys. I was mediocre at best, and I just I wanted to compete with them, so I just kept finding that drive in myself to try harder and just find that extra little bit of momentum, I guess would be the best word here, to keep yourself going.
Tell us about your experience playing in the Brantford Youth Dart League, because it looks like the league's been around for many years.
Yep. It's been around since well before I was starting, and still going. I think it's changed names since I've left, when I was very long time ago. But I came in, and it was a very strong league when I came in. That had the likes of Terry Hayhurst, Robbie Civic, Aaron Johnson, Rob Johnson. Like, it had a lot of strong players that were national level players. And if you wanted to be able to compete in that league, you really had to push yourself and push them as they pushed you. It's never been an easy league to play in, because the competition was always so fierce. But as long as you could find that drive, then you would always be able to compete. Even the players that always thought they were weakest, they'd come up and take a couple of games off you here and there and shock everybody and themselves and continue to prove themselves.
I think, though, that's a great way to play, because you're playing players that are better than you and more experienced, and that's going to uplift your game as well.
Very much so.
So how often did you practice as a youth during the season, and did you play during the off season practicing?
At the start, I practiced pretty much every day. I took a hiatus during the middle part of my playing as a youth, and I didn't practice at all. I found other hobbies, and there was just personal issues and things like that, as rebellious teens go. But when I did come back into it again, I was practicing pretty much every day, a couple hours a day after school, things like that. Even after our league was done, a couple of us would go out, we'd go do whatever kids do, and then go back to one of our houses and play some more. Even, like, just constant practice.
When you're playing with somebody else practicing, that really helps staying focused. But how do you make practicing fun if you're playing on your own, and to stay focused playing?
Staying focused, it's definitely not an easy thing to do. You can very much get distracted, but definitely having somebody else there is good. Again, nowadays, the Dart Connect system, any of these online tools are great, so that you can play against other players, as well as against the computers, but continuously setting a goal. You put a goal in front of yourself and you're going to keep pushing for it. I've found that the more goals I set, it's going to get frustrating at the start because you're not hitting your goals. But as long as you keep setting those goals, you're going to hit them. Once you hit them, okay, now you can go set another goal. Keep playing all these different little games, all the doubles games, like Bob's 27, 121, things like that, right? Like all kinds of out games.
Some good practice games for sure. And as you talk about goals in my youth league, as I've given many speeches, as the kids know, I always talk about setting your goals and working towards them. Now, how do you stay focused during a big match?
I usually just try to not pay attention to what the opponent is doing. Just keep your head down, go up, play your game. You're only playing against the board at the end of the day, but if you can just blank out everything around you, you can keep your focus. My thing is I would always just keep in the same routine. Throw my darts, turn around, come back, have a sip of water, stand behind my opponent, just watch till their feet are gone, take 3 seconds, and then step up.
Just playing your game. So many times your opponent shoots a 180 or something, or a very high score, and you find yourself falling farther back. It's staying that focus and not worrying about it.
Yep. It's just give yourself that little extra, come on.
Now, what's the best part of competing for you, and what's the most important thing about the game of darts?
The best thing about competing for me is all the people you meet. You meet everybody from here, there, and all over the world, all over Canada, all over the USA. It's just constantly meeting new people. It's a very family-oriented sport without actually all being family, right? Like we are just one big family in the darts community. We're all there to support each other.
Yeah, we always talk
no
about
matter-
being a community.
Yeah, no matter how much, this guy's better, this guy's not so good. You're all there to support each other no matter what, because after your match is done, you're all coming back and you're going to chat. Nobody gets into fights so much. I've heard of a few, and we're not going to talk about those.
Yeah, no one's perfect.
No, but arguments happen with those people and they get over it. But it's, for me, it's the love of the game. You want to compete. You want to enjoy it with other people.
Well, we talk about when the match is over, you had a good performance. And what's the one thing you like to do?
I don't know. I never really have a good performance. Best thing is once you're done, you congratulate your opponent on a good game and just kind of carry on. I don't really change much. I have a good game, I have a bad game. I try to keep my mindset the same the whole time, right?
Well, that's all about staying focused. Even though we don't win every game, we need to, get back on that board and stay focused and don't worry about that loss.
Yeah, don't tread on it, and you won't ever have an issue, right?
Now let's look at some of your results as a youth player. In 2004 Provincials, it was held in Brantford, your hometown. And in senior male singles, you finished second behind Terry Hayhurst. But take us back throughout that day and making the stage against Terry.
That was a long time ago now.
16 years ago.
Yeah, let's not remind me. My hairline does that enough.
I know.
I don't remember a whole lot about the day on leading up to it. I know I felt good playing, but in all honesty, it felt like I should have went out in the semifinals because I was as nervous as all got out. I remember that much. Raced into a 2-0 lead, almost lost that 2-0 lead. My opponent came back 2 legs and missed the dart for the match, and I had a shaky hand and clipped it in. That's the main thing that I remember.
Yeah, it's just making the team, right? That's the most important part. We all want to be provincial champions, we can say, but making the team and knowing we're going to nationals.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was also my first year back after my hiatus, and I'd only played 3 other provincials prior to that. So
Wow, you did well.
yeah, yeah.
So at Nationals, which was held also in Brantford, you finished second in mixed doubles with your partner, Christy McHady, and dropping the finals against your teammates, Kelly Lightheart and Terry Hayhurst. But in senior male doubles, Terry and you finished first in Canada. Take us back to those 2 finals and your overall experience at Nationals.
Uh, well, the overall experience, it even though it was in town, I didn't get the travel like most of the other kids did. It was fun because it was our own club that was holding the event and helping put up all the boards and that. So I was there right from the get go, prior setting everything up, and just all the people that I met from all over Canada. It was great. I didn't get to grow the bonds with most of them like a lot of the other players did because I had only played the 1 year, where most of these players that they meet them a lot younger. I was at my max age for that when I went, so I didn't really get the chance to bond with everybody as much, but it was a great experience. I don't know how to explain this.
Well,
It was
you did amazing though, for sure.
yeah, yeah. I have to credit my partners on that a lot because I was obviously very very nervous, never playing in a national level at that point before. Uh, they definitely helped me a lot. They'd both been former Team Ontario players a couple times over. Uh, they were able to help talk me through some of the nerves that I was having, just to say, carry on with your game, you're going to be fine. But yeah, I don't remember a whole lot about the finals exactly.
Well, it's going back many years, so for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Um, Tell us about any other success and memories in youth darts that really stick out for you.
Uh, Probably my biggest success in youth darts. So I didn't play a whole many years of youth, but the very first time that I was able to play in the Ontarios, I came just short in the singles, which was unfortunate. It was my second year playing, but I was still qualified in the doubles with my partner at the time. And I was just ecstatic that I was able to make it because yeah, the year before, like I said, I was mediocre at best. I didn't think I would ever make it to the provincials because I felt like I was overwhelmed by the talent that was around me. And when I did make it, I was just I was as happy as I don't know what a good analogy is to use here. That's appropriate to say. So I'm just not gonna say one.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I played in a couple of provincials. The first year was just in doubles. I didn't qualify after the zones. The second year, I got to play in singles and made top 16 in seniors. And, it was just a great experience. And that was just so many years ago. And I never played adult darts. So great memories, though.
Well, that's good.
So moving into the adult program, tell us about the transition from youth to adults.
Well, that was definitely a lot different because in the youth, like the last year, you felt like you were one of the top players. You were able to beat everybody, and then you go into the youth, and the experience of those guys really showed your weaknesses. But again, with that, you gained your own experience. I struggled. I didn't make the provincials my first year out in the adults. At least not that I remember. I don't think I did, but again, a long time ago. Uh, and as the years went on, I felt like I got a little bit better each time. Uh, the second year I played the adults, I did qualify for provincials. I think I barely made the cut in my zone, which again is like all the other zones out there. If they're tough, they're not easy to get through. And when I got there, I was able to make it through the first day at the, I think it's the bigger round robin. It's been a long time since I played the Ontarios. I think it's a round robin knockout.
Yes.
How it goes. So I made it through the first round robin, lost in the second round robin to several good players. Um, didn't feel bad about it at all. Just carried on, kept coming back the next year. I believe it was 2009 was my best year. I did lose out in the round of 16s. I played some very good darts that day. I couldn't tell you who the people were that I played most of it. But I do remember that the person that beat me out was the one to make the team, and I believe his name was Albert Beckham.
Yep, I know him.
I don't remember where he was from, but I do believe that he was the one that beat me that year.
Yeah.
And I never really played a lot of mixed while I was here. I played a couple of years, and we never really did anything but have fun.
Well, you're pretty close. And if we do have provincials and zones and all that this year, is this something that setting a goal that you're going to try and do it?
As long as my work schedule allows, because working in the auto industry, it's not the easiest to find the time because we're on or not continental, but a rotating shift. So it all kind of falls within my work schedule now.
Yep, it's important. We need to make money so we can have fun.
Yep.
So in the game of darts, you've got to become an expert at calculating in your head, thinking fast while you're on that line, knowing what your outs are, and being able to leave yourself a good out. How did you become so good at calculating in your head like that?
Well, I was pretty good at math to begin with, but to do the calculations, chalking for most of the adults. As anytime you could chalk, even chalking for the kids, because it obviously the kids when they're first learning at the provincials, we all need to have chalkers for them, right?
Yeah.
Because it's going to help them. It's going to help keep them focused as well. But definitely chalking, and especially chalking the cricket games, because that one you're not just staring at one number, you're having to watch that whole board and watch where these guys are going. I remember doing that at the Motor City Open a few times. That is not easy to do with some of those guys.
There were some great players that played that Motor City Open because that's
Yes,
only 10 minutes away from my home. And I used to go down there and watch the games for sure.
Yeah, it was a great venue too.
Yeah. Now, who are some of your biggest supporters as you competed as a youth and today playing?
As a youth, some of the biggest supporters were probably my grandmother and my father, because my grandmother, she supported everything I did, but my father, because he was the one that got me into it, he was the one that I always chose to play the adult youths with when we were kids, because we didn't have a whole lot of tournaments back then. Sorry, I've got a dog coming up to me. Now it's probably my wife. She always wants to see me do well, as I do with her. She started playing darts a few years ago as well. But yeah, it's pretty much about it.
It's always great having your spouse supportive of a sport or anything we love to do, hobby or anything. So,
Yeah, definitely.
now, did you play any other sports as a youth?
I did play some baseball as a kid, a little bit of basketball, but I wasn't a huge fan of playing the basketball at the time. So that's where we kind of fell into the darts also. It's just looking for something in the winters to do. And it's predominantly our leagues are held in winter.
Yep.
But no, I played baseball. I played that for several years as a youth, a couple of years as an adult, and I didn't really take that any farther than being a hobby.
Well, it's as we get older, we have to work and maybe raise a family, and it gets
Yep.
busy. But any other hobbies you have now besides playing darts when you have time?
I don't really have a whole lot of hobbies now. Between my work schedule and injuries that you suffer as you get older, it's hard. I struggle. My biggest hobby now is spending time with my wife and my dog. We'll go out, have some hikes, and tour around, see sites that we haven't seen before.
Well, that's a great hobby to have and a good relation for sure.
Yeah.
Have you been playing any online darts at all?
I did play in an online league uh, shortly after the COVID started. It was a Niagara Falls league held by, I believe it, I don't remember who the other person was that started it.
Was it
It was,
Justin or Steve?
no, it was Justin was in it, but it was Bill Gooder and I want to say Shane Bursey, but I could be incorrect on that. I know he was in the league as well. Um, but it was just something to keep everybody busy, and it turned into a very, very competitive league. It was quite fun and enjoyable. I didn't do very well myself, but it happens.
But you played, you had fun, and during COVID right now, there's not much else to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And right now, like I just I just put a board up again for the first time in 3 months, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. It's even worse. So I need to find that muscle memory again and get it going.
Yeah.
Hopefully, some of these kids out when I get to meet them and play with them at the adult youths out there.
That's great. This is a hard question sometimes, but do you have a favorite opponent you've always loved to play against? And if there's one player in the world you'd love to play, who would that be and why?
Anybody that's better than me.
Great answer.
Anyone better than me, because they're going to bring out your best game,
Yeah.
because you're always wanting to beat them, right? So any of the top pros out there and top players in Canada and top players in Ontario, it's anyone.
Yeah. As we wrap this up, just one more question. Any other advice we can give to the youth to help follow your footsteps?
Just have fun. As long as you're having fun, you're gonna find your way through. The darts are gonna come with you. If you don't continue on after youth, don't take it as a bad thing. It's not. You just found a different path. But always go up, have fun, be respectful, play your hardest.
You'll always have memories of playing in youth for sure. So
Very much so.
thank you so much, Rob, for doing this. Really appreciate it to help inspire the youth of today, and wish you luck in all your goals. And hopefully, maybe we'll see you at zones, provincials, or tournaments.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
You have a good night.
You as well.
Great.
Bye.
That was great talking to Rob and going down memory lane and his time playing in Brantford, and of course, making nationals the 1 year. Make sure you go to our website at www.dartsontario.ca to find out more information about our organization. Also, go to the Darts Ontario Facebook page and hit like so you get all the updates. Are you a current or former youth member of the Darts Ontario program? Would you like to be on one of our episodes? Please email me at youth@dartsontario.com. This is Shawn Irwin, your Darts Ontario Youth Director, and make sure you check out our next interview on episode 24 of Darts Ontario Let's Talk Darts. Thanks for watching and see you next time.